Thank you so much, President Clafter, for being with us and hosting today. So now I want to be able, to pull off a great event like this, you need a location, you need a host, which we had, and we need a major sponsor. And so the next person I'll bring on stage, we owe an enormous amount of gratitude for being our major sponsor for this summit today. I'd like to introduce David Waisgrass. He is the Vice President of Intelligence, Information, and Services Business Section of Raytheon Company. For those of you who don't know, Raytheon is a $23 billion company, 61,000 employees, and is a technology and innovation leader specializing in defense, civil government, and cybersecurity solutions. Please join me in welcoming Dave Waisgrass to the stage.
All right, thank you, Katie. We are thrilled to be here and thrilled to be a sponsor. So Katie and David Goodtree and others asked me to spend just a couple of quick minutes on Raytheon Company and what we do for those of you that may not know. So I'll repeat a little bit of what Katie just said. We're a $23 billion company. We've been in existence for about 90 years. We have 60,000 employees, and we operate in over 100 countries around the world. So we are made up of 5 different businesses, primarily in defense. 4 of the businesses are only or strictly in the defense and security area, and one is a commercial cyber security software company. So in the defense areas, we deliver what we call ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems to the U.S. government and governments around the world, as well as advanced cyber solutions, and both kinetic and non-kinetic weapons for both offensive and defensive purposes. And clearly we operate in all the different domains: air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace. So our integrated defense systems provides large land and sea-based radars, as well as what we call C5I systems, again, for both the intelligence community as well as militaries. Within Israel, this business, which is headquartered in Massachusetts, provided the Patriot missile defense system, which is now deployed in country. As a matter of fact, it's in... As a matter of fact, the Patriot system is now in 13 different countries around the world. Our Raytheon missile systems business, and many of us know of Raytheon as the largest missile maker in the world, and we are in fact that, providing weapons such as the Tomahawk cruise missile, Paveway, and the AMRAAM missile. In Israel, that business area is partnered closely with Rafael on both the Iron Dome and David's Sling air and missile defense system. So I think that also deserves a round of applause. Our space and airborne systems business, which is located primarily in California and in Texas. I guess I shouldn't have said that with the governor here, but they all can't be in Massachusetts. Well, they could be right. There we provide airborne radars and what we call electro-optical infrared sensors. They are both space-based and obviously on air breathers, and we also provide electronic warfare systems. Within Israel, SAS is delivering the AESA radar for the F-15s, the active electronically scanned array radars, some of the most advanced airborne radars in the world. Now, my business, and just for a small correction, I'm the president of the Intelligence, Information, and Services business. I guess I got demoted when I got introduced. Is really the most complex business. We have 4 different focus areas. In space, from a space perspective, we provide ground systems and deliver everything from mission management to content delivery as well as actual operations. In this area, we provide very advanced analytics and information assurance And importantly, this is for the entire space value chain. In what we call digital battle space, or the digital battle space, here we deliver and modernize, and again, importantly, cyber-hardened mission assets. This is primarily focused on the U.S. military and, again, military services around the world. It's basically hardening large platforms, whether they're completely software-based or things like ships and planes and those sorts of mission assets. And if you really think about the access points or the vulnerability associated with these systems, it's just enormous. And Raytheon saw that as an opportunity to support the warfighter in a way that others may not be able to, again, across the globe. Lastly, the last area of focus for my business is well, it's not the last, it's the next to the last, what we call intelligence transportation or intelligent transportation. Here we have automated navigation and surveillance solutions that we provide both through civil agencies as well as the military. As far as civil agencies are concerned, we stand up electronic tolling systems. A number of years ago, we installed an electronic tolling system here on the Cross-Israel Highway, or what we refer to in Israel as Road 6. And we've recently sold off a system very similar, electronic tolling system in Massachusetts on what we call the Mass Pike. Lastly, and importantly, we have a large cybersecurity business. Now, Raytheon has been in the area of cybersecurity for, I would say, well over 20 years. We've grown these capabilities both organically and through acquisitions. We provide these capabilities both to governments, again, domestically in the U.S. as well as around the world, and also to commercial customers. Now, our heritage is clearly U.S. defense and the intelligence community, so we have a very strong foundation on which to build these advanced capabilities. From a government standpoint, we provide very large-scale, advanced solutions. In fact, we recently sold off, and I can't mention which country, we recently sold off a system where we architected and integrated what we call a system of systems and essentially secured the country the way you would think about securing a business, or we're talking about hospitals this morning. We did this at the country level, and I'd be willing to say there's not a lot of companies in the world who could have successfully accomplished that sort of task. We also are involved in very advanced vulnerability assessments, and again, we do this so that we can figure out where the threat environment might cause harm to mission assets, and then we remediate those type of threats. We've also brought these capabilities, by and large, to the commercial industry. A few years ago, we put together a joint venture between ourselves and a private equity firm called Vista Equity Partners. I'll give you the very short version, but it's a lot more complicated than this. We essentially bought their prime asset, which is a company called WebSense, and we merged it with a company inside of Raytheon, which was formerly part of my business before, called Raytheon Cyber Products. We merged those two together. We subsequently bought a next-gen firewall business from McAfee, which was owned by Intel at the time. And we've put these three businesses together, and we are now providing what we call defense-grade capabilities to commercial customers around the world. So with that, what I'm going to do now is introduce our guest of honor. Charlie Baker is the 72nd governor of Massachusetts, and for those of you that may not know this, the birthplace of the American Revolution. That's supposed to be a joke. I think most of us would know this. Not the American Revolution, the fact that most of you may not be aware of it. Governor Baker is in his first term. He's known for his strong executive skills, tackling and fixing difficult problems, and for advancing the state's economy, particularly in the fields of digital health and cybersecurity. In 2016, Governor Baker was recognized as the United States Governor of the Year. I think that deserves a round of applause. According to the governing magazine, quote, "It's hard to find anyone who doesn't like Charlie Baker. Since he took office as governor 2 years ago, his approval ratings have been in the 70% range. And importantly, he's Republican, leading a state largely made up of Democrats." Prior to being governor, Charlie Baker was chief executive officer of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, a $2 billion, 1 million member health benefits plan that went from state receivership to first in the nation for 6 straight years for member satisfaction and clinical effectiveness. Prior to that, he served as CEO of Harvard Vanguard Medical Associates, the largest independent multi-specialty physician practice in eastern Massachusetts. He also served in senior administration positions for two prior governors. He earned his bachelor's degree from Harvard College and his MBA from Northwestern University. Charlie was raised in Needham, Massachusetts with his 2 brothers. His mother, a highly educated woman who traveled the world before she was married. Last year, she passed away. Consul General Yehuda Yaakov planted a tree here in Israel in her honor. The governor's father, Charlie Sr., served in the Nixon administration under Secretary John Volpe, the former governor of Massachusetts and Secretary of Transportation under Nixon. He often recalls how his mother, a Democrat, and his father, a Republican, set an example by debating the issues of the day passionately without being disagreeable. He played basketball in high school and college. He worked as a paperboy, wrote for the local paper, and thought he would pursue a career as a sports journalist as a young man. He helped grow a small conservative think tank in Boston, the Pioneer Institute, before joining Governor Wells' administration, where he served as Undersecretary for Health and Human Services. He later served as Secretary of Administration and Finance, and this position is essentially the Chief Budget Officer or the COO for the state. He's married to his wife, Lauren, who is here participating in the mission, and his 3 kids, Charlie Jr., AJ, and Caroline. Charlie Jr. is also participating in the mission. His 2 sons both graduated from college a few years ago, and Caroline is now a sophomore. As governor, and I know I'm repeating myself here, he's currently one of the most popular elected officials in the country. And as a Republican from a blue state, that's no small feat. He serves as co-chair to the National Governors Association Committee for Health and Human Services, where he helped pass a resolution outlining nationwide priorities for states to pursue in combating opioid and heroin epidemics. The national model was based off of the legislation he helped usher into law, which contained the U.S.'s most stringent restriction on addictive pain-killing medications. Since taking office, he has closed $2 billion budget deficits without raising taxes. I think that deserves a round of applause. While increasing spending on education and local infrastructure. Massachusetts also became the new home to General Electric when the company chose to relocate its headquarters to Massachusetts last year. So with that, let's welcome Governor Charlie Baker.